Prime Minister Narendra Modi has taken Toronto by storm. Once again, NRIs laid out the red carpet for Modi at an event that was organized earlier in the day. In his address to the Indian diaspora, Modi highlighted the role of the Indo-Canadian community in nation building and strengthening of bilateral ties. Modi evoked Canada's relations with his home state of Gujarat to underscore the depth of the tie. Prior to the Prime Minister's address, Indians in Canada prepared a cultural program to match that at the Madison Square Gardens in New York. Modi emphasized the work done by his government in the last 10 months. He also used the stage to level political scores. The Prime Minister said that India is now for skill development as opposed to its notoriety for scams earlier. Now, Modi spoke highly about India's diplomatic efforts in war-torn Yemen. He also highlighted the atmosphere of trust that prevails in the country.
न्यूक्लियर एनर्जी के लिए दुनिया भर से रिएक्टर मांगते थे। हर कोई देश हाथ ऊपर कर देता था। बात चलती थी, 2-4 साल बात चलती थी, फिर बात ऊपर हो जाती थी। बहुत लंबे अरसे से विषय पेंडिंग था। कोई देने को तैयार नहीं था, क्योंकि सबको लगता है कि कहीं बॉम्ब न बना दे, और जो बनाते हैं उनको कोई रोकता नहीं। रोक पाते भी नहीं। पिछले 10 महीने में वेस्ट एशिया में जो मुसीबतें आई हैं, उसके कारण करीब 17,000 भारतीयों को सुरक्षित बचा करके वापस लाने का काम किया है। और देशवासियों, मैं आपको ये बात बताना चाहता हूं, संकट की घड़ी में हम पासपोर्ट के रंग नहीं देखते हैं। हमारे मन में लेबर के प्रति जो डिग्निटी चाहिए, उसका अभाव भर गया है। जब तक ये सामान्य व्यक्ति की डिग्निटी, ये हमारा स्वभाव नहीं होगा, डिग्निटी ऑफ लेबर, ये हमारी प्रकृति नहीं होगी, तो शायद दुनिया जो हमसे मांग रही है, उसको हम गौरव से नहीं कर पाएंगे।
The Prime Minister also had a political message in his Toronto address to NRIs, hitting out hard at the previous UPA government repeatedly in his speech.
आजकल तो विमान की सेवाएं इतनी अच्छी हो गई हैं कि 15, 17, 20 घंटे में आप भारत से कनाडा पहुंच सकते हो। लेकिन भारत के प्रधानमंत्री को आने में 42 साल लग गए। हमारे देश में आप जब विदेश से आते थे, एयरपोर्ट पर उतरते ही आपकी शिकायत क्या रहती थी? यार, गंदगी बहुत है। हमने तय किया, काम कठिन है लेकिन करना चाहिए, और हम नहीं करेंगे तो कौन करेगा जी? जिनको गंदगी करनी थी वो गंदगी करके चले गए, लेकिन हम सफाई करके जाएंगे। 2012-13 के कालखंड में एलईडी का बल्ब सरकार 350 रुपये में लेती थी। ये सरकार 85 रुपये में लेती है। ये ट्रांसपेरेंसी है कि नहीं है? ट्रांसपेरेंसी है कि नहीं है? भ्रष्टाचार गया कि नहीं गया?
Now, in his speech in Toronto, he also managed to convert his saffron wave into a politically correct revolution. The saffron, a color usually associated with the Sangh Parivar, will soon be a color of the energy revolution, of a mission to bridge the power deficit, handicapping the country's infra push. All part of 4 revolutions listed by Modi during his speech: white for milk production, green for eco-friendly measures, blue for water and sky.
कनाडा के लोकप्रिय, मैं चतुर्रंगी क्रांति करने का सपना देख करके चल रहा हूं। चतुर्रंगी क्रांति का सपना देख रहा हूं। सैफ्रॉन, केसरिया रंग। अब कुछ लोगों को तो केसरिया रंग का अर्थ भी मालूम नहीं है, वो अपनी मनमर्जी वाले अर्थ करते रहते, वो उनका काम करते रहे। सैफ्रॉन कलर ये ऊर्जा का रंग है, एनर्जी का रंग है। सूर्य का 7 घोड़ों का रथ देखते तो सैफ्रॉन कलर का दिखाई देता है। ये ऊर्जा क्रांति करनी है हिंदुस्तान में, और इसलिए न्यूक्लियर एनर्जी, सोलार एनर्जी, विंड एनर्जी, बायोमास से बनने वाली एनर्जी, एनर्जी सेविंग, इन सारे विषयों को एक साथ चलाया है।
Now, a $254 million deal to procure Canadian uranium marks the beginning of an important chapter in bilateral ties. Prime Minister Modi and his Canadian counterpart, Stephen Harper, announced this historical uranium pact at a joint address on Wednesday. Canada will be supplying 3,000 metric tons of uranium to India for a period of 5 years under the safeguards laid down by the International Atomic Energy Agency, or the IAEA. The development makes Canada the 3rd country in the world to export uranium to India after Kazakhstan and Russia. The deal comes 45 years after Canada banned exports of uranium and nuclear hardware products to India. In 2013, the two countries signed a nuclear cooperation agreement clearing the decks for the fresh uranium deal. And for a decoder on what this uranium deal actually means for you and me, for the common man, how it actually changes things on the ground, let me hand it over now to Headlines Today's Deputy Editor, Smita Sharma, for this uranium deal explainer.
Well, India is a large economy and its middle class is really growing at a rapid pace. And with the middle class growing, clearly India's energy demands to increase. In fact, India is energy starved at the moment. 2/3 of the electricity that is generated relies on coal, which is not a clean energy option. There is tremendous pressure on India to go in for carbon cut, in fact, in terms of the emissions. Now, also, the energy demand will be doubling by 2020, which is in the next 5 years, really. And with this focus on manufacturing, it will also increase energy demand. So both for the household electricity consumption as well as for all those industrial electricity needs, India needs to in fact triple the nuclear capacity to 17 gigawatts by 2024. That is the aim or the target, in fact, which the Prime Minister has in a way given to all concerned authorities. Currently, India has 21 operational nuclear reactors. There are 6 more in the pipeline to be built by, of course, that French company Areva. But these reactors have been running at a suboptimal capacity. There has been a chronic shortage of nuclear fuel, which remains a huge headache for India's nuclear energy needs. Clearly, 16 new power plants, in fact, NPCIL needs to build them. But there is not sufficient nuclear fuel for it as well. That is where uranium comes in as a key component, and India in fact is keen to have clean energy. It's a mix of the energy basket we are looking at, but in terms of renewable energy, solar, wind options are really based on seasons. We do not have enough storage capacity for them. But for the nuclear, in fact, option, we need to have more uranium supplies, and that's why those deals being struck with countries like Australia and Canada.
The agreement on procurement of uranium from Canada for our civilian nuclear power plants launches a new era of bilateral cooperation. It also reflects a new level of mutual trust and confidence. Further, it will contribute to India's efforts to power its growth with clean energy.
The untapped trade potential between our countries is enormous. Canada has what India needs, and vice versa. To that end, I'm pleased to note that Cameco will supply Saskatchewan uranium for India's atomic energy program over the next 5 years.